gets into coping mechanisms, you can understand sort of how artists or musicians or whatever that they can get into like alcoholism or drug abuse and things like that because you're on the edge of oblivion.
Well, and you're not doing like a normal day-to-day
Step away
thing. Right, exactly.
What?
Something to tell us, darling. No, but then it's not like
Just went to the
a normal
garage.
job, right? So it's not like you're being. I guess it's not like you're being drug tested, or you're like you have the 9 to 5.
Plus you're crossing a border.
Like it's literally very. And there's a party environment, when you see people that come to the show, everybody's just ready to have the biggest time ever, and you wanna give them that, and then you feel that too, and so and it's hard to come down from that natural high that happens, and it's easy to just go, oh, I'll have another beverage. Oh, I'll have another beverage. That kind of thing can happen, and you're like, boy, I'm just exhausted. So it's like watching that is important.
And you guys have mentioned a couple of times now how you had, it took a few years to figure things out, and then you've settled into this pattern. You've kind of found your groove. What happened? Was there some kind of paradigm shift after the first 2 or 3 years? Was it really just learning more about how to live on the road?
Well, unfortunately, we're all very stubborn. And a lot of the times it takes self-learning. You hit a wall, and then you kind of look at the mirror and go, well, that didn't feel very good. So you start to adapt based on that.
Strangely enough, I think almost just having the almost 2 years kind of break, or a year and some.
The pandemic.
The pandemic was actually kind of helpful to be yeah, the whole room. And that was actually kind of helpful because we were touring for, I think, about 4 straight years. Then we didn't live anywhere. When we had off time, we would go find a mountain somewhere or a beach somewhere. And you didn't live anywhere. It was just nonstop tour. So I think
The road was our home.
that's it. So
Troubadours.
I think that it was like getting sort of caught in the center of some vortex, and just to be able to step out for a minute made a huge difference. And you all of a sudden started to think a little more clearly and make connections that you don't usually make when you're so busy and you're constantly doing shows.
That's domestication.
No, I don't know about that. I mean,
Is if you make it.
I think
throw it, let's see if
realizing
it sticks, huh?
that the job on the road is not the 2-hour show that we're on for, because that part's really fun.
Right.
It's all the traveling. It's getting on, plane to bus to, just constantly packing up your suitcase, going up to a hotel room, coming back down. So
Yeah, I've even heard
Whose
people say
quote?
you don't get paid to
Yeah.
play shows. You get paid to the travels what they're paying you for, because it is like a lot. You get all of these different.
the hardest part,
Yeah,
wear you out.
That was the best thing Chris Stapleton ever told us.
Thanks, Chris.
God bless you. We'll remember you.
So we love it. Guys,
God bless his soul.
You always
He's
really
have to look
tall.
up.
That's why.
Chris Stapleton's still alive?
Actually, really tall.
Eek.
So guys, we'd love to know, we've got this incredible audience here of individuals who are all going to go on to really successful, interesting, challenging things
No doubt.
in music.
Bravo. I look forward to seeing your faces in the stars.
We won't forget them.
All of
That's
them.
why he's looking up.
And
Right
so-
here, Jake. Right
Oh.
here.
Right. Sorry.
And so we'd love to know if you guys had some strategies that you could share with all of us today on what's really worked for you. How do you really stay healthy, grounded, balanced when you're on tour?
We don't.
You don't. But that's honest.
It's
that's
that
honest.
We're
We're
really,
Yeah.
we're really curious why
We're
you
all
had us
fucked.
here in the first place today. I'm kidding. I don't know. I guess a lot of those things have been trusting your intuition and your instinct is huge, because sometimes you become a little bit self-conscious, and you can make decisions, I guess, based on fear or concern, and so trusting that decisions that you're going to make naturally that feel correct are correct, and that you should feel that you can trust the people that you surround yourself with, and surrounding yourself with the right people is huge, because I don't think we would be just probably some, I don't know, living like Jake said, we'd be just probably living in the streets, strumming away or whatever. I don't think we'd be anywhere if we didn't have the right people in our lives to guide us, and to trusted in us and believed in our vision and helped us along the way. So those are some things.
On a less heartfelt note, I think just keeping yourself entertained, because you don't need me to tell you that there's only a couple hours of a day where you're actually working, no matter what your job is. So keeping yourself entertained with projects, something as simple as, you know, taking up drawing or something, just to keep your artistic part of your brain
Get some
functioning.
jumpsuits in your spare time.
Yeah.
Send them my way.
But because, like we're saying, it's not a normal job. There's a lot of waiting around, and you need something to kind of pour your energy into.
I'd say don't let your expectations drive, everything. I've learned that if you set a really, really high expectation, you start acting out of fear and you start narrowing your pathway in a sort of sense. So, there are going to be days that are hard, and that is completely okay.
And you
Completely
are
okay.
everything you need to be. Then that's true. It
And
is.
booze.
You always are.
No,
So go with the
Lots of
flow.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, I think it's interesting because the complexity of that question lies in the fact that not everybody is the same, that we're all so different and complex. And so everybody's method is going to be different. But what these guys have said is like, yeah, if you follow the instinct, if you trust yourself and you guide by individuality, you'll sort of find the place where you belong, and that's that through line.
It's amazing. Guys, thank you so much. Before we wrap up, we have time for a couple of questions from the audience. And so I've actually got some questions here from a couple of Grammy U members that they wanted to pose to you.
It's a good look.
You wear it better. I'm jealous. Now I feel
Her
really
curls are way
insecure
tighter than
about-
yours, Joe.
I'm really insecure
Yeah,
about
it's true.
myself right now.
So guys, just to start, in the beginning of your touring career, how did you know you were ready to start touring? And what did you do to prepare? That's such an interesting question.
Great
First,
question.
lost my shit. That's what I did, and then no, really, actually, basically, I was so frightened. I think I let anxiety get the best of me a little bit. I think sometimes if you're in tune, meditation is a huge thing to help to be able to connect the mind-body connection and that and be in tune with that. So
You
that's
must
one
lose
of-
yourself first to find one's mind.
Oh, jeez. What will we?
Wow,
do?
another
full of 'em.
cliche.
You're just full of it today.
I read a
yeah.
bunch. I read a bunch on my way over.
Actually, meditation is one of the more effective things, because you know how your mind can just be swirling with these things. Like you were saying, we're really good at blowing things up and making it seem like it's worse than it is. If you just sit quietly and try to
Molehills, not
push away any thought for 5 minutes, you can come back to any situation and just see it as it really is. So I guess that is a really good tool. Should probably do that more often.
I like to say it, but I don't really practice that philosophy. It's just
Do as I say, not what as I do.
smart.
What?
Smart. It's
What?
Freudian.
What?
Freudian
What?
slip, right?
I think even the highs and lows, it's like when you think back at all those times that you felt like you were really rock bottom, and you can kind of go, that was just part of that moment, to that journey, and maybe I learned something from that. Maybe there's something underneath the surface that you needed to see that was part. Then it becomes part of you that you've learned from. So it's gonna be like ups and downs, and there's gonna be days that are feel impossible. But it feels like it if you are aware, knowing that one day that'll be retrospective and that it's okay, and that it's not this huge thing that you're making it out to be, and meditating on just sort of clearing your mind a little bit, coming back to the space that heads the literal physical and cerebral space that you're in, and that everything seems to be a little bit more intact, and it's all part of an adventure at the end of the day. It's really this fuck fear and live your legend through the intelligence of love. It's the important thing.
All right, that was a
That
good
was
interview.
okay.
Did he
I
get
love
2
it.
F-bombs?
I think he did.
We all
only got
agreed.
one.
Everybody gets
I
I
one.
told him
Right.
he could have mine.
Right. Yep.
Danny
Right,
actually
now you're
gave
gonna
me
have to
his.
pay up,
This
Jake.
is going to stay PG-13. Then
Yeah,
we're
right.
going to have to watch
Right.
it, guys.
Also, if you read Lord of the Rings, it'll solve all your problems.
It's true.
true.
Also,
And you'll have something to do for maybe endless hours.
Yeah, for a couple of years. You read that.
And talk about
With
your
a
head
poet.
completely, clearing your head. I mean, that would probably do that too.
Guys, can we ask the Grammy U student who posed that question to stand up and introduce themselves if they're here?
let yourself be
That's a
known.
fabulous
Yes,
question.
please.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
The f-
Hey,
Hi, Emily.
thank you so much.
on the same elevator. Yeah, we did. We go way back. To the first floor.
Almost. What happened?
Well, security
Thanks,
guys.
Emily.
Oh, dude.
So guys, we've got one more. We've got one more question. If I can ask the other member to stand up, I think we'd someone else with a question.
Please.
Okay. So I've got it here. So what is the most rewarding aspect of live performance to you? Such a great question, too.
It's complex. I mean, there's a part of performing every night.
Seeing the face of God.
Yeah,
That's my
I
favorite
mean,
part.
I know.
What?
I know everybody's
beat that.
faces just went. He's serious.
It's there. It's really there. That's
Interesting.
that thing.
I think it's interesting, like sharpening the tools, because every single night, every single night you play, it's like you become a better musician. So it's like there was a period, I think, that everybody hits sort of creatively as a musician playing an instrument, or as an artist doing whatever, and the progress is immediate and expansive right off the bat, and then it becomes, I don't know how where else can I go and how much further can I be, because I know all the chords, I know all this stuff, but what comes next, and you don't know what to do. But doing that in succession, playing every single night, it grows that sort of boundary, and all of a sudden a door opens, and then there's a whole new level of musicianship that comes from it. And I like watching that sort of evolution with all these guys and myself, where what's gonna happen, what's new, because every night someone will do something that'll be like, wow, that was impressive.
Inspired by each other.
Right.
My biggest goal is to make people look at me during the show. when
Me
Sam
too,
looks
I
over and
like that.
smiles, I know I did something cool. And same with Jake, and same with Josh.
I know. It's
Yeah.
like, how much further should I?
If I
push
could look at
this?
myself, I would.
Should I slip? Yeah, exactly right.
could
You
look
are
at your
so
pointy
entertaining,
shoes.
Daniel.
Be like, wow, I'm really creative today.
You could get a mirror up there, I guess.
Good. I could.
It's true. There's this like healthy competitive sort of edge to the performance that we all experience, which is kind of playful. So that's one of those things too that can be exciting. But ultimately, there really is no description of the way that you feel when you're in that space, and that you're kind of trusting that something is coming from some higher place, and and streaming through you or flowing through you, and you're trying to channel that thing. And then there's this huge communicative thing that's happening with a space of people that can be, any size. It's just sort of like you do something, and then you see a reaction, and then you get something back, and it is like sort of a rocking horse of energy kind of thing, which is cool.
Yeah, you get like a positive feedback loop, and I like the idea that everybody leaves with inspiration, hopefully, and applies that inspiration to something else in their lives.
The performances are fun, but it gets really real when you get to firsthand communicate with the audience and the fans, and to realize that you've actually touched them in a way, which is and moved them. And as our musical influences moved us and inspired us to do the very thing that we're doing, you get to see that in others, and that gets me every time.
What I like about that is trying to communicate that in such a way that it's that all of us are this equal force, that we're all on the same level when we're in the space, that space where that thing is happening, and that's the coolest part about it. And I can be very nervous in my head, and I get stage fright all the time, and sometimes that's just channeled in such a way that it feels more exciting, like butterflies, which is the better feeling of the two, and not, boy, I'm gonna sound like.
By the way, it
this
never
is
goes
gonna
away.
be the worst, and I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna die, But I wrote a song for that too, which I sing, which helps me. But we'll just leave that for another time anyway. But it's like, but
I am the
whatever.
shit. I am the shit.
Look at me.
No, it's actually goes more like I'm so nervous, I think that I might die. We hope the show is good enough and not a steaming pile of shit pie. Ah, bravo! That's it.
Very vaudeville, not bad.
No, good interview.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I think there's so much inspiration there, as you said, for us to end on. So many great nuggets. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this. Guys, huge round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I guess thanks for listening.
The music is you.
I know we're a lot,
She
so
said we got a 5
appreciate it.
p.m. lecture, so we gotta.
So guys, we're going to take a few minutes break, and then we're going to come back with our next amazing panel. So thank you, everyone.
They're not gonna be as interesting as this. They're not.
No, definitely not.
Easy.
I have
Easy.
7 kilo stories.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yes, thank you.